afternoon and welcome. Hi, my name is Michelle Jutrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up here in New South Wales, Australia. Thank you very much for joining me today. Please jump on and say hello. This is the first time you've been on here. Let us know where you're from. It's always great to say hello to new people, so please don't be shy. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to have a play with the Frames and Flowers designer series paper. Now, I've only just pulled it out of the packaging today. First time I've had a look at it. They've actually in the catalogue used it. Hello, Linny. Thanks for joining me. Used it with the posed peony, but I don't actually have that. So I've got another basic stamp set, which I'm just trying to find the page of here. It's probably back in the other direction. That I am going to use, which is the Simply Said stamp set. So just want some really basic sentiments to go with today's, but we're going to have a bit of a play with this one. So let me just pop this catalogue to one side and show you the papers. So what is in this suite, or in this paper pack, is 3 sheets of designer series paper. I've left one of them with my others. Just let me grab this one. So you've got 3 sheets of designer series paper. So we have this beautiful one here, and if you flip that over, it's that colorway on the other side. This one here is just like a very sort of mottled Lost Lagoon, and if we flip that over, we have that beautiful one there. And then the last one is this one, and again, if we flip that over, you have got a beautiful design on that side as well. So it just comes with 1 sheet of each, but then it also comes with 3 sheets of die cuts. So let me just bring these over so you can see them. So each one of these is all pre-cut. So all you need to do is just pop them out just like that. Okay, so you have that sheet there, which has got a lot of wreath type images to it. This page here, now this one keeps flipping over, and this one has more wreaths and flowers as well. Areas here where you can stamp a sentiment if you want that there. And then the last piece, which is this one here, which again is all pre-die cut. Now, they've done things like this in the past, but they haven't die cut it. So this is going to be actually quite good because it's all pre-cut. So what I would recommend doing if you get these is just to die cut, pull them all out just very gently. They're just sort of caught every now and then with just a little spot which hasn't been cut, and you can just pop them out just like that. And then you can store them in our CD storage containers, which, I'm not even quite sure whether they're in the catalogue, because some things have been removed from the catalogue and they're just online. So this catalogue has a very, very good index in the back of it. So let's have a look. They've got storage here, $94.95. Let's see if it's on that page there. Yes, standard stamp cases just down the bottom. Whoops, let me just move my catalogue up so you can actually see. So just down the bottom here, they have standard stamp cases, and here in Australia, they're $15.75 for a pack of 4. So, and there's an image of them just there. So they're just an empty stamp case, just like a CD or video, like not a video, but I think you know what I mean, case without all the insert and everything. And you can just put all your die cuts into there. The other place you could pop your die cuts is when you get your dies. I don't actually use the envelopes except for my circles or my rectangles. But I usually store my dies with my stamp set. So I've got a whole stack of these plastic envelopes. And, of course, actually I should have one here. This is one here. Okay, these envelopes, I've got my adhesive sheets cut down and stored in there. But you could also pop them into something like this, so then they're all kept there together. Hello, Lorraine. Thank you for joining us. And Glenda and Joan, thank you. It's really great to have you on here. So that's just a way that you can store all of those die cut pieces. Now, I've just pulled out some cardstock that I thought would go with these pieces here. So I have got Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Petal Pink. So let's start playing. I haven't got any idea as yet. Oh, you do the same too, Glenda. That's good to know. I haven't decided as yet what sort of card we're going to make. I just thought we're going to just start playing and see where this all takes us. So I'm going to do my card base in Pretty and Pink. And I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit, oops, I've lost my image. There we go, we're back again. Sorry about that. Must be the internet is playing up a little bit. Just comes in and out, or it's my computer. As I said last week, my son, he actually rang me about 2 minutes before going live to say to me he's got my computer almost built. He's working on it today. He's just waiting on another part to come. And hopefully that's going to eliminate some of the issues I've been having with my internet, because I think it's to do with the connection. I think it's a bit worn, a bit old in this computer. Okay, so I've just cut my piece of cardstock in half. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're using A4 cardstock or letter size cardstock. You just cut it in half lengthwise, and that will give you a 10-fold card, which is my preferred style of card to make. So now I'm going to score this. So I've cut that at 10.5. If you've got letter size, you'll be cutting that at 4.25. And it's the length, which for A4 is 29.9, and for letter it's 11 inches. And then I'm going to score it in half, which is at 14.9. or at 5.5 if you have letter. So there's my card base. I'm going to cut this in a matte size. So I'm also going to cut this down to my 10.5, cut it straight in half. I'm going to pop half of that to one side, and I'm going to cut this down again, and I'm going to cut it at my 14.9, which is giving me a quarter sheet. I like to work in my quarter sheets because then I can just trim it down to what I want to go. So I'm going to cut this down to 10. So I'm taking off about 0.5 centimetre, and I'm going to take off 0.5 centimetre in the other direction too. So it's going to take it down to 14.4. So let me just pop that to one side and grab this piece and my card base. I've got my bone folder, so I'm just going to fold that in half, give that a nice burnish on that fold, and that'll just make sure my card stays nice and closed. Now I will probably have to get up in a minute and grab some basic white, or even some of the beautiful basic beige to go on the inside of this card. So that's going to go as my mat there. Now, I did have a little bit of a look at these. Let me just move things here out of the road. These pieces here. Now, I'm not necessarily using this piece, but this is the piece I've taken away. Now, because this is an American company, we're made a little bit to American sizes. Okay, so if I use that onto there, which I think if that was going to be my card, that is actually looking quite good. And I've got a gap, okay, a difference. I've got a bigger gap between top and bottom than I do have at my sides. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can move that up a little bit and have a larger gap at the bottom. You could even cut it in the middle and have a gap through the middle, or in thirds. So, and spread it out a little bit. There's lots of different things. And actually, I think that might be what we might do. Okay, because I do actually quite like that on there. So let's just have a look. This piece here is, and might do this part in inches because I know that this is in inches. It's probably a lot easier. So, because this is 5 inches, that's what I measured before. So if I'm going to divide that 5 inches into thirds, I'm going to be looking at, let's see, if it was 6 inches, it'd be 2, but it's not 6 inches. So we've got, let's just get the calculator out. My brain's just not wanting to work today. It's been a little bit slow. So we've got 5 inches, and we're going to divide that by 3, and that is going to come out at 1.23, or 1 2/3. So let's have a look. 1 2/3. So just writing that down here in my scrap here, 1 2/3. I got 1 inch, so again. Okay, Lorraine, you use inches. What's 1/3 of an inch? Okay, 1/4 of an inch. So you got that's 1/8. So you got 1/8, and then you've got 16ths. Can we divide 16 by 3? Let's have a look. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 5/16. I wonder if that will be what I'm looking for. Let's just have a look. I'm pretty good with inches, but 1 5/16. 1 5/16. 1 5/16. So that's 3 15/16. So yeah, so it's just over 1 5/16. So let's just cut that at 1 5/16. So 1, and we've got 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, which actually works out in centimeters. It works out at 3.3, but I reckon if I go 3.4 centimeters, that's going to be pretty close. Okay, let's see how right we're going to be. We're very out. That's okay. I am just going to work with this because it is very, very out. I have done 8.5 millimeters. Is it? Nah, I'm very out though. But that's okay. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work because with cutting it the way I've cut it, I've ended up with 2, and I'm going to have to work this out better, 2 smaller pieces and 1 larger piece, because if I cut that, I'm going to end up with another small piece. But this is going to work. I'm going to make this work. Okay. So we've got that. And what I'm going to do, now that's matching all my pattern. I'm going to pop this piece here at the bottom, that piece at the top, and we're going to pop this piece in the middle. Now we can and I don't mind having that larger. Okay, this is what's called flying by the seat of your pants. Now, this to me, I should have looked at it, has pretty much got a one-way design. So I think I'm going to turn it up that way. Usually I would have the bigger piece at the bottom and have the smaller pieces at the top, but I'm going to do it this way because that doesn't look too bad. Hello, Zaina. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Very early AM morning. Where are you then? If you're very early AM. Is 1/3 of an inch. Is 1/3 of an inch. Oh, 8.5 mil is 1/3 of an inch. Oh, okay. It's really funny because I learnt inches up until I was in primary school when we changed over from into metric from imperial. And I can remember doing imperial when I was in what we would have called 3rd grade. So I must have been about 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And I remember I had to have a 1-inch margin down the side of my page, and that was width of your ruler. UK. Oh, what part of the UK are you from? I always like to ask people what part of the UK they're from when I find they're from, because my sister lives in the UK. And my nephew does as well, so. Okay, so that one's going to go there. There's never a mistake in card making. It's just you just keep rolling with the punches and you come up with something a little bit more unique. Norfolk, so you're right up north then. I might be wrong, but that's what I'm assuming Norfolk is. I'm not going to say I know my way around England too well, since I've never been there. I'm learning because I keep asking questions where people come from. My family live down near Exeter. Well, my sister does. And my nephew, now I can't quite remember, I think he's somewhere around Gloucester. Okay, got a little bit of glue oozing out from down there, and that's okay. I'll fix that up in a little while, I hope. And my rubber to do that. And that's going to go on there. Now, I'm not going to glue that piece down as yet, so let's have a look. Let me just get rid of my trimmer here out of the road. East Anglia. Now you've lost me. That's okay. You can lose me even around Australia. Okay then, so let's have a look and see what we've got. Now, when you take these pieces apart, you've got these little bits inside here. So let me just pop this one here out, just so I can show you. Sometimes it's just easy just to fold along those lines and they'll just come out. But this one here, I don't know whether you can see it, but there's that piece there just pops out. don't throw these pieces from the centres away, because you can use that to stamp a sentiment on there, because it's got a little bit of texture on that paper, like a printed texture. So you could use that, but then you could use this to print a sentiment and die cut it out. So don't throw these pieces away, will you? And I will pop all of these out later on. This one here is a long, thin piece in the middle. So it would be good on a scrapbook page, or that would be a bit smaller than a 12 by 12, because all these pieces here are 12 by 12, or the actual outside measurements. So that piece is probably going to be about 11 3/4. Yep, about 11 3/4. You could make a great belly band, or you can get 2 cards out of that, you know, either going across the width or down the side and trim. So all of these little bits and pieces, keep them. I'd probably get rid of these little bits. But then, you know, you could actually cut this piece here. I just got my trimmer back again. If you wanted a very small frame, move those out of the road. Don't want to cut something I don't want to cut. But you could, just going to move that out of there. I'm just lining up so if you wanted a frame for something, you could actually cut those little pieces, and there you have. Let me just remove this out of the road. If I brought my card in, and let's just flip that over just for argument's sake. Pop that on top. Actually, let's remove that bit. Make a nice little frame. So all these little bits and pieces could be used. Now, this side here is probably actually slightly narrower than that. But really, I don't think anyone is going to notice. And it's only slightly narrower and probably a little bit hard to cut because this is so thin. But, yeah, you could even use it as a frame on a scrapbook page, Lenny. Yeah, you could do that. So, I mean, worthwhile maybe even keeping all of those little bits and pieces. But anyway, let's go back to our card. But it's always good just to have a look at all these things and just see what we can do with all of these little bits and pieces. So let's just, I'm actually going to just make that easy for myself, move that out of the road. Oh, just don't want to bend those bits. And let's have a look what else we've got here. Got little bits and pieces all wanting to pop out. So we've got some lovely little leaves. Now that's probably a little bit busy to add another floral piece on, because if we say, for example, take this piece here, pop that on top, I mean, it's pretty, but it's very, very busy. Okay. You think it would look good outside the box. Yeah. Any of those ideas. So I'm just wondering whether we might cut a frame or something out of some other cardstock. So I'm just having a little bit of a look here, because we've got, I like that leaf. We could use that leaf there. And I'm just wondering whether because that sort of just fell out, but we could even layer a few things on. I'm just sort of got that leaf there as well. See, a lot of these things are now starting to pop out, so I'm just going to quickly pop a few of these out so they don't get too lost. I like that. There's another leaf in a similar colour there. And then we have all of these little flowers and bits and pieces. So I'm just going to pop out some of those. I know this is a little bit hard for you to see what exactly I am doing here, but I'm just, at the moment, just pulling little bits and pieces out. I'm just trying not to lose stuff as well as I go. Here's a couple of bigger flowers there. And another one and another leaf. Okay, I'm going to start with that. And I have got some petal pink here as well. So petal pink goes with that really well. So now I want to do, and I'm just thinking, I've got a punch here that is handy. And instead of die cutting, I might just punch that particular shape out. Use what we have on hand rather than bringing in lots of other bits and pieces. So we can pop that on there with a sentiment. Might be getting a little bit, let's just have a look. Don't want to make it too busy. I said it the other night on my live the other night, I am so disappointed that we don't have vellum at the moment, because I really do like having vellum when you've got a lot of busyness with, yeah, I like that, but I'm also going to bring in another one of those punched out. Let's just grab the stamp set here, and let's just start having, whoops, wrong one. Now I did have it here. I picked up a few things and moved them, and I think I moved the wrong. No. I've moved the wrong stamp set, and goodness knows where I've moved it to. Because I know I picked it up. That's okay. Let's just go work with what we've got, because what I've got in front of me is actually Friends for Life. Don't know where I put that stamp set. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, Thinking of You. That's a nice one. As I said, might as well work what we've got on hand. So let's just grab that. It's actually quite a big stamp. And let's pop this onto a block. Okay, with these photopolymer stamps, what I'd like to do is just pop the stamp on the table. This is a solid stamp, but if it was one that was a little bit more flimsy, just pop it down, let it lay down naturally and then just pick it up with my block. And I have got here the Pretty Peacock. And let's ink this up. And let's just, now generally I like to stamp first and then cut, but we'll see if we can get this nice and straight. That actually fits in that really well. And I also have my baker's twine, and I'm going to use, what colour? I think I might use more of the grey tones rather than any other. So I think this is Smoky Slate. Does it tell me on here what colours they are? No, but I've got a feeling it is a Smoky Slate. Let's just wrap this around a few times. Now I like to wrap things around odd numbers, so I've wrapped it around about 3 times rather than twice. And let's just tie that into a bit of a bow there. Just play with those ends a bit, just get them to form a nice bow. Sometimes don't like it how baker's twine tends to twist on you a little bit. That's okay. We will make that work. I'm just going to move that up my card just a little bit there. Now the other side wants to twist as well. Okay, let's just... Okay then. So I'm going to pop that onto there. Pop some dimensionals onto the back of this. Remember when you have your dimensional bits and pieces to use up all these little edge pieces. Oh, right there, I know what I was going to do. This piece here, I was going to cut that in half. Grab my seal. Just to give this a little bit of a, or to bring in that Pretty Peacock again, but also just to give this a little bit of a border. So I've just cut it in half, and I'm just going to pop a couple of mil border of that. Oops. On either side, just to add a bit of depth there. Now let's pop our dimensionals back on. And I am popping them into the middle rather than, because if I want to pop some of the leaves and things in around it, I can. And just pop them underneath. If we put all our dimensionals around the outside edge, it limits us where we can pop or push the. So I'm just going to pop that there over the top. Now let's bring in all these little bits and pieces that we've got here, and let's see how we can do like these. So let's just pop. Really want to keep it as simple as possible. Pop that there. And you can see, because I've not brought my dimensionals right out to the outside edge, I've got room underneath to push things in underneath there. Okay, so we can do something like that. So I like that so far. So I'm going to actually glue those in. It's already grabbed itself onto one of the, to a bit of glue, but let's just pop some, might be almost empty of glue. Pop some glue on there. And I'm just taking that underneath that baker's twine and underneath my sentiment. And I'm going to do the same with this one. And I'm just putting a bit of glue on the bottom because I like to have it with a bit of lift, so it gives a bit of texture. And again, it's just going to go underneath that baker's twine and underneath my sentiment. And again, I'm going to pop a little flower, just putting glue in the middle. So that can go there. Trying to get that bow untwisted again. Now it's definitely going to twist, so I'm just going to let it go. But what I want to do is grab a mini dimensional. I'm just going to pop a mini onto that back petal there. Keep shaking this bottle, trying to get that glue down. And I've put a little bit of glue on one of the other petals. And I'm just going to pop it down there. So it's got a little bit on the sentiment there and a little bit below. Now we've got another small, and I might just put that one just over there. Just to give that a little bit of, whoops. Just wondering whether, no, I don't think it needs it. Really, that's probably about it, because we've got a lot of busyness happening in that. Just get rid of those little bits in the bin. That's the card front so far. So let's adhere that to our base. Actually, what I might do is use dimensionals for this. Let me just see if I've Got another pack here. Okay. Don't have any white ones left, and I do have all of these foam sheets. So let's see if we can use a couple of these. Put one up there. And then this one I'll pop in the middle just so that it doesn't sag. It is pretty paper. I'm hoping in the next day or so I'm going to pop over to Harvey Norman, which is not a couple of streets away from me, and get some photos printed. Because when my sister visited from England early last month, we got all these lovely family photos. And I haven't scrapped them as yet. And I just thought this paper might just look really nice because it was at a restaurant or a winery we went to. So there's a lot of greenery and everything in the background. So just, yeah, I'm just thinking it just might look quite nice. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. Usually when I do the insert of my card, I do it in a white or I do it in like the new basic beige. But I'm thinking any of your lighter colours would work really well. So I'm going to do it in this one here, which is petal pink. You just move all that out of the road. So I'm going to cut this down to 14.4. And 10 centimetres wide, so that's about half a centimetre smaller. And I'm going to pop that on the insert side there. So just a little bit different. You don't have to. Hello, Sue. That's okay. Glad you're able to join us. You don't have to use white or, basic beige or very vanilla for your card inserts. If you've got a colour that works really well with your cardstock, there's no reason why. As long as when you write on it, I like to be able to see what I'm writing, unless, of course, you use gold or silver pens. And I think this bottle might be just about empty. There's no reason why you can't put a nice pretty colour on the inside. Now I'm just going to move that over a little bit, just a little bit like there. And I'm going to grab maybe that little one there. Or even, let me just have a look, what have I used? Because that's the shape that I used. So let's just pop that there. I'm probably putting a little bit more glue than I would normally use on the inside decoration, because I'm not necessarily going to put anything underneath it. And you can pop that piece there, which is similar to what we've used on the front, just so that we're making everything look coordinated. And I've got a little flower here. Anyway, so yeah, so this papers I'm going to actually use, I think, for my scrapbook page on my sister's visit. Pop that little one just in there like that. So just to finish it off, give a little bit of a finish on the inside. And there's the outside of it there. Now, of course, if you wanted to add a little bit of bling or something like that to it, I'm just having a look to see what we've got. I've still yet to go through my box of bling and take out everything that's not. This is one that I got in the celebration, but you know what? It's got all the right colours in it. Because the colours that go with this are your Calypso Coral, your Pretty Pink, your Pumpkin Pie, and then you have these, your Early Espresso, and you've also got the Micar Base, Lost Lagoon. So that's all those colours. So I think, and I like these when you've got big and small, so you don't have to do, so sometimes they're just, because I'm not a big bling person, so sometimes I don't like using a lot of big bling. But what I'm thinking of doing is just popping these in my flower centres, just to add a little bit more of definition there. And then small one, big one, do a triangle, so I'm going to pop a small one there, big, small, whoops, I just bring this one just, I can, may not want to lift now. No, it doesn't want to lift. Okay, that's going to stay right where it is. Okay. So there you go. There's my very first card using this particular pack of paper. And I think it's actually going to be a fun one. It was one of probably the first packs of paper that I was really drawn to from this catalogue. I love the colours. And I'm not a pumpkin pie person, but I do love all those apricot-y type tonings. So, hello, Lisa. How are you? Thank you for joining. It's great having everybody on here today. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that you will jump in and maybe purchase that pack of paper. Remember, you saw this through my online store at michellejutrissa.stampingup.net if you're here in Australia, and if you don't have another demonstrator. So thank you very much. I hope that you can also join me on Tuesday at 7:30 where we will make something else. And if I get these photos in the next few days printed up, then hopefully fairly soon I will have a scrapbook page using these same papers in that you can see. So yeah, have a great day. Take care. And again, thank you very much for joining me. I do really appreciate having you on here with me. So have a lovely day. Take care. Bye for now.